Hi everybody, welcome back to Temperance Healing. Today we're going to be doing a pick a pile reading. So what I'd like you to do is focus on each of the piles and figure out which one you resonate with the most. For pile 1, we have Falling, the Unknown, Descent, Momentum, and Change with this crystal. For pile 2, we have It's Always Tea Time, Eternity, Endless Moments, and Repetition with the Desert Rose. And then for pile 3, we have Set Your Course. Know where you wish to go, have a plan, the right direction. And that has this crystal. So if you need more time, go ahead and pause the video, sit with the cards for a moment, and find out which ones you resonate with the most. And with that, I will see you in your reading. Hi, pile 1. If you chose the Falling card with the Unknown, Descent, Momentum, and Change, this is going to be your reading. So we're going to go ahead and get started pulling some oracle cards. Spirit. Clear and concise messages for the good of all. What is the message for pile 1? All right, Spirit, what is the message? All right, we have Exchanging Gifts. Spirit, what is the message for pile 1? Oop. By the Book in reverse. All right, and let's do one more. Spirit. Oh, there it is. We have Yang. All right. One second. Okay, I wanted to go ahead and straighten out the cards. It bothers me when they're not all on screen trying to get my camera right. Hopefully there's not too much of a glare. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pull out the tarot. And we will get started with that. So, while I'm getting the tarot together, the overall message of Falling is one where we're talking about being the unknown, descent, momentum, and change. Effectively, what's happening, pile 1, or the message that's coming through for you, is that this is very much an in-between phase for you, pile 1, where you are transitioning from something that no longer served you or no longer serves you into a new state of being. And the future may very well be unknown as far as where exactly you're going, but you are being supported very strongly by the universe to embrace that change, to make sure that as you are making that change, exchanging gifts, whatever the change is, let's say that we're talking about a relationship. If we're talking about a relationship, Spirit wants you to focus on making sure that whatever changes you're making, let's say it could be the end of a relationship and the beginning of a new relationship. May not be the case. It could be a transition in the sort of dynamic of a relationship. Whatever it is you're doing, the message here with exchanging gifts is very much about making sure that you focus not only on giving, but receiving, opening yourself up to love, opening yourself up to asking for what you need, giving to others, and making sure that there is an equal flow of energy and love between you and this other person. Now, let's say that this is a work situation. Say you're switching to a new job. Again, making sure that this is say you're going to a new job. This new job is one that truly satisfies your needs. And not just in one aspect, not just, is the salary good? Is this a place that gets me out of, where I've been working before because, I just hate where I'm working. This is a time where you are being heavily supported by the universe to make the right choice and to be very discerning in the choices that you are making to make sure that everything you select is something that serves all aspects of your life to the highest good, right? So you don't want to get a job that, it pays fantastic, but, you've got to travel all the time and you have a family that you want to spend time with. Whatever your values are, make sure that whatever your selection is, it is in complete balance with your needs. There is a reciprocation and that you will be valued in this new situation that you're going into. Now, when we're talking about by the book, particularly in the upright position, this is something where it's time for you to take a stand and make some real changes, okay? So this is Spirit's message of empowerment for you. This is, do not let fear change you. Don't let fear stop you from doing what it is that you want to do. It may be that for you at this time, and all your situations are going to be different, but for you at this time, this could be a complete overhaul of your life. Whatever this transition is could be so significant, could be spiritual, relationship, work, moving, whatever. It could be so significant that it could be a complete overhaul of how you embrace your life, how you look at your life, how you value yourself in your life, and who you allow into your life. You need to assess the value that others bring into your life and be very honest with yourself, okay? That is a very strong part of this message from Spirit. Now, when we get to Yang, one of the things that we're talking about there is, this is about basically taking all the desires and creative ideas that you have, all the inspiration that you have, and it's time to put it into action, okay? So all the things that you may have wanted to do, or you've been thinking about doing, or you've been growing towards doing, now is the time to be bold and make those changes, to turn a desire into something that is real, to truly manifest it into reality, okay? So we're going to get some additional context with your tarot here, but one of the big things with Yang is it is very much up to you to take the lead in this situation. Now, let's pull a little bit from the tarot here and find out a little more about what your journey is going to look like here. All right. So, Spirit, looking for clear and concise messages for pile 1. To elaborate on the context or general situation around the message for pile 1. All right, we've got the Fool, We have the Two of Wands in reverse. Spirit. Five of Cups. Looking for additional context or clarity around the message for pile. Whoops. One. The Two of Cups in reverse. All right. Spirit. One more. Context or there we go. The Knight of Cups. All right. I'm going to spread these out a little bit. All right. Let's see. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is use another deck so I have the full spread to use in order to supplement this deck. So in other words, like, you know, if the Five of Cups wants to come out twice, it totally can. So, yep. All right. So Spirit, we're looking for clarifications on the overall message for pile 1. Spirit looking for clarification for the message for pile 1. Oops, that didn't work at all. Spirit, clarification for our message for pile 1 from Spirit. All right, Spirit. Looking for clarification on the Fool. Spirit, may we please have clarification on the Fool. All right, nope, too many. Spirit, may we please have clarification on the Fool. Too many again. One more time. Ooh. One more time. All right, Spirit, looking for clarification on the Fool for pile 1. All right, we have the Moon in reverse. Spirit, additional clarification or context on the Fool, please. Spirit, we're looking, oh, 2, not what I expected, but we will take it. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse and the Justice card in reverse. Okay, interesting. All right, so let's move on. Spirit, let's get some clarification or context around the Two of Wands in reverse. There we have it. We have the Empress and we have the Queen of Cups. All right. I want to make sure, oh yeah, that you guys can see all these cards. And apologies for the glare. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit for you. Hopefully that's a little bit better. All right. All right, looking for clarification or context on the Five of Cups. Any necessary clarification or context on the Five of Cups. All right. I feel like that's it, actually. Clarity or context on the Two of Cups in reverse, Spirit. Clarity or context. All right, we have the High Priestess and the Chariot. And then clarification or context on the Knight of Cups, Spirit. We have the Tower in reverse. Any additional clarification or context? Oh, that's weird. Any additional clarification or context? Oh, there we go. On. All right. And then we've got the Universe in reverse. All right. So let me just take a look here. See if I can get this straightened out and make sure everything's fitting on the screen. Okay, looks like everything's on here now. All right, so taking a look at the Fool card. This is talking to us about, oops. There we go. All right, so this is talking to us about a new beginning, innocence, taking a risk, an awakening, optimism. If you see here, her leaning back into, if you can see the picture here, she's leaning back and the wind is at her back, almost holding her up. But she's taking a risk, and she's trusting in the universe, almost to hold her aloft, is what I'm seeing most significantly when I'm looking at this card right now. One of the things about your overall message, pile 1, is that you are in a state of change. You're in a state of flux from one state of being into another, whether this is about a relationship, work, your family, etc. Now, what's interesting about this is when we get to the clarification, this shows us a lot of potential, right? We have the potential to start again, which is really what Spirit is saying. However, when the Moon card kind of came out by itself at first, and this talks about how we can avoid our emotions and conflict and go back into old patterns of dealing with things, particularly if we come from a place of trauma, because we tend to repeat old cycles over and over again. So that was one part of the message. But then, if you recall, these two messages came out together, the Seven of Wands in reverse and the Justice card in reverse. So the Seven of Wands in reverse talks to us about having a doubt or having doubts about your purpose. And it can also speak to us about like anxiety and hesitation. So when it comes to this new start for you, the next step that you're very much encouraged to go along, this is where you are meant to be going. There's a part of you that wants to hang on to things the way that they have been and go back to the same cycles that you are used to from the past. But then there's also this part of you that is very anxious and hesitant to make any change and make this start over. But it's paired with the Justice card in reverse. And when we see this, this is often about, this comes up when somebody has been dishonest, or there has been an injustice against you, or you feel as though you are in a situation where your voice is not being heard. Like someone is overriding everything that you're saying. So what I'm seeing here is that where you're coming from is a state of your old cycles and patterns. And part of that is one where you are hesitating to make the change because I'm getting the feeling almost of someone being overly controlling or bullying in a sense. So this is where we start off with our background, I think, of where you are when it comes to your mindset as far as starting this new, fresh beginning, taking the new start, this awakening inside of you, because this is very much about an awakening. This is about taking your power, empowering yourself, okay? Very important. Now, when we're looking at the Two of Wands, the Two of Wands in reverse is talking to us about having insecurities about our own abilities, about, again, it's like being afraid to take the next step, okay? The good news is here, it's kind of interesting the way this is sort of weaving in and out, but this is clarified by the Queen of Cups and the Empress. So what you've got here is the Spirit is telling you that the way this is coming across is to trust your intuition. Now, the fear and the insecurities that you're having, this is from some unresolved or triggered trauma. Because when we came to the Justice card in reverse, something about this speaks to me about, or perhaps it was something over here is speaking to me about a trauma being brought back up. Something being rehashed, almost as though it was used against you in some way. I'm not entirely sure what, you'll know what that means. I don't entirely understand it. However, clearly there are some insecurities about taking the next step. You're worried about moving forward, which is natural, particularly when we come from a place of trauma and we are trying to empower ourselves to take that next step. But Spirit is telling you right here that you got it. You have everything that you need to take the next step and move forward. This can also talk about, say it could be about home and your family. And if you're having insecurities about whether or not you are a good partner or worthy of something, if you're a good mother, the Empress, very clearly, this can talk of fertility. It can also talk to us about being a good mother to others as well as to yourself. So, though you have these insecurities, you have feminine influence, and that doesn't necessarily mean male or female gender specifically, but you have feminine influence in your life that is there to support you and make it through this transition. And in that, guide you back to your intuition so that you will be able to make this next step and stop doubting yourself. Okay? Now, we're going to look at the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is typically looking at, if you like, take a look at this card, right? This is a lot of times about loss, grief, sorrow. A lot of times in the Five of Cups, people are looking at what they've lost as opposed to what they still have. One of the things to pay attention to here is this can be wallowing, self-pity. It can be disillusionment. What am I hearing? When it comes to the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, I'm going to get some additional cards in case this is not... I have a feeling about getting an additional card here, so we're going with it. This is how we're flying. Because I was drawn only to take this one from this deck, so I'm gonna guess it's gonna be a repeater. But anyway, our Knight of Pentacles here, Spirit is talking to us about, okay, this can be about avoiding complacency and bad advice, like misleading advice or information. Now, if we're talking about a romantic relationship or situation, this could potentially represent a partner who is someone who is very stubborn, very unwilling to see their part in things, very unwilling to change, and sort of just stuck in their own ways. It's someone who, from a material perspective, may have seemed like a good option. However, they may be too materialistic, and I'm getting a feeling of like secrecy and dishonesty. And when I say secrecy, it doesn't necessarily have to be intentional secrecy. It may be that this person does not understand or have the capability to communicate how they feel. However, part of what you are dealing with or moving away from, particularly given this, is that you have a situation where you have suffered great disappointment. And there has to be reciprocation in order for you to take charge of your life and become the person that you want to be. And that is exactly what Spirit wants for you. All too often when it comes to trauma, we are very, very willing to put ourselves in the back seat and not stand up for ourselves. Stand up for ourselves. That's what one of the messages by the book. Standing up for ourselves. So let me get another card for this, because I feel like there's an aspect of it that's missing, and there's a deck that is specifically coming to my mind. Hold on, I gotta get it. All right, Spirit. I want to get an additional clarification or context around this Five of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles. Spirit, looking for pile 1, their message from Spirit, and clarification or context around the Five of Cups. All right, one more time. All right, Spirit, looking for clarification around this Five of Cups. There we go. Yeah, the Three of Swords. Yeah, so the Three of Swords in reverse, what we have is an opportunity for healing here. When we have the Three of Swords in reverse, it can talk to us a lot about... Three of Swords is about a breakup, effectively. Now, in this particular deck, what I'm seeing is a lot of mementos. The feeling that I'm getting is a deep desire not to walk away. There's this deep desire not to walk away, even though there are all of these things that no longer serve us, that pile 1 you may not be wanting to walk away from. But the Three of Swords in reverse is talking to us about it being even more dramatic. And it's almost as though I feel like there's been a lot of manipulation when it comes to this situation. Now, this is heartbreak. If it's not about a particular breakup, this can be about the pain of truth, okay? The pain of the truth of what you have been disillusioned about. If it comes to a job or money, perhaps, you just got screwed over at work. Whatever it is, this is a very painful sticking point for you, pile 1. I feel... if I explain to you what this feels like, you're think I'm bonkers. But I feel like this part of the reading is what everything else is anchoring to. And it's like, this is the negative energy that's trying to suck everything else in. But that's not what this reading is about. This reading is about leaving this behind and moving forward. And that's exactly what you're going to do. You're starting to grow and you are going to move forward. Because, let's get to the next part. Looking at the Two of Cups in reverse. The Two of Cups in reverse can be about healing past trauma. Okay, it can be about disruptions in relationships, but we've already talked about this. And with the clarifications of the High Priestess and the Chariot, what this is talking about is you are healing your past trauma. You are learning to rely on your intuition. You are reconnecting with your inner self. You are feeling the empowerment. You are opening your eyes and awakening to what has been happening around you. And for the first time, you're starting to realize, yes, you absolutely are worth it. And you're ready to move forward. It's time to move forward with the Chariot. And that's what you're going to do. That's your message from Spirit. All right, let's move forward before we finalize with this and talk about our Knight of Cups, because we've got some more work to do here. Now, the Knight of Cups, this is Mr. Romance. This is Mr. Chivalry, Mr., being in love with being in love, right? But this can also be about creativity and artistic tendencies and seeking connection. And that doesn't necessarily have to be on a romantic level. Okay? Now, having that clarified by the Tower in reverse and the Universe in reverse. Ooh, my alarm to take the trash out just went off. Sorry. Okay. So having the Tower in reverse, this is a message from Spirit to surrender. Okay? The Tower in the upright talks about us, things falling apart. The Tower in reverse can talk to us about like blaming ourselves for things that have gone wrong, like taking responsibility for things that really weren't our responsibility. But when it comes to advice, which is where we are in this reading, it's time to surrender, particularly given that we have the Universe or the World card in reverse. Now, the World in reverse is talking to us about being ready to move forward, but feeling blocked. And it's as though you can be blocked because you are stuck on one particular idea. And if that is the case, it may be time for you to reassess your why. You need to figure out your why you want to do what you want to do, and make sure that what you're moving towards is what is right for you. Either way, it's time for you to stop fighting, embrace your creativity, embrace the relationships in your life that have value. We're talking about before, make sure to evaluate the value of the people in your life. You are important and you should surround yourself with people who support you. Good things are coming to you and the universe has your back. Now is the time that you will create and make this transition from what was to who you will be. This is a beautiful spread. This is truly a beautiful spread. I feel this for you, Pile 1. And if words would help, I would write you a novel. But the most powerful thing we can do with pain is transmute it into empowerment. And that is what Spirit wants you to do. So with that said, I'm going to leave the reading here. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, I will hope that you will hit the like button, subscribe. And with that, I will see you in the next one. You guys have a good one. Hi, Pile 2. If you chose It's Always Tea Time with Eternity, Endless Moments, and Repetition, and the Desert Rose, this is going to be your reading. So first, make sure we're in the screen. We're going to go ahead and pull some oracle cards. 1 second. All right. Oop, let me smudge real quick. Okay, there we go. All right, Spirit. What is the message for Pile 2? Today, Wednesday, November 26th. And remember, these messages are timeless. So if you feel called to them at any time, just know that they do apply to you. Trust your gut. Spirit, what is the message for Pile 2? Oh, one more. Spirit, what is the message for Pile 2 today? All right. Spirit. We have building blocks in reverse. Spirit, what is the message for Pile 2? Peace. All right. Spirit, one more. Oh, there we go. Deep knowing in reverse. All right. Okay. Okay. So, this is interesting. All right, so it's always tea time. Again, eternity, endless moments, and repetition. Here we're talking about basically being stuck in a loop. And if you look at the expression on her face, yeah, that's about the feeling that I'm getting behind the reading overall right now. What I'm getting is, I think this might be Pile 2, you might be my empath pile. There is a feeling of being overloaded with overwhelmed, like having psychic exhaustion, for lack of a better word. You know how like you go into a group of people or you go to a party or something, and if you are an empath, which a lot of people actually who have been through trauma are, we've learned how to pick up on other people's emotions as a method of survival. And so we're very in tune with that. And if you go to a party and you're around a bunch of people, sometimes if we don't set energetic boundaries and we don't take care of ourselves and we do too much for other people and we give and we do and we do and we do and we do because we're expected to do. Like, I'm seeing someone here who is just giving and giving and doing and doing and doing because that's the way that it's always been done. But it's time for that to stop. If we don't take care of ourselves, we get exhausted. If you're around people at a party, their energy, if you have empathic tendencies, they can completely just overwhelm you if you don't know how to set up like energetic boundaries with people. So it's very important to make sure that you are taking good care of yourself right now, because what Spirit is saying here is that it is time to take a hard, honest look at what the cracks are in the foundation of your life. Okay? What is it that doesn't really work for you? Doesn't work for you anymore? Or never worked for you, but you just didn't ever want to admit that it didn't work for you. And now you're getting to a point where you need to admit that it doesn't work for you anymore. This can be a relationship. This could be a job. This could be interpersonal relationships with family. All your situations will be different, but it's very important to take a look at what does not serve you and get rid of it. Fix the cracks in your foundation. Set yourself up for success and happiness, because peace is what you deserve. And when this first came out, I'm like, they all seem like these two, like everything seems like it's in direct opposition to the peace card, but this is your guidance towards finding peace. Pile 2, you have been doing a lot that I don't think that you have wanted to do for quite some time. You have sacrificed your own wants and needs for others, and it's time to adjust your life so that it fits you. You get one life on this planet, as far as I know. But you only get one life on this planet as you, anyway, I know. Do not allow it to pass you by and regret living it for someone else. There is no greater mistake that you can make. Maybe there is. I don't know. But that seems like a pretty friggin' big mistake. That's your overarching message from the Oracle. And I'm going to get a little bit more detail here from the tarot cards as well to get an idea of what's going on for you. But this is really pretty clear cut when it comes to your overall message from Spirit. When it comes to peace, and I actually looked this up because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing anything, because it was like sort of in contradiction. Radical acceptance is necessary. Okay? You must take things as they are. You don't have to accept them in your life, include them in your life, but you must radically accept that things are what they are. And we can't always change things. We can influence things sometimes, but for the most part, if we're trying really hard to change something, maybe it's the wrong thing that we're focused on. Maybe it's just not the right thing for us. Maybe it is. Maybe it's the way that the relationship or the job works. Maybe if it's a job and you need to spend more time at home, maybe that's what you need to do. Change what your repetition is, what these cycles are, what these traditions are, what you're doing over and over again. You need to change it so that it fits you and your life, not the other way around. Stop people pleasing. Sorry for the harshness, but stop people pleasing. Stop accommodating others, and understand that you are important enough that you deserve to be able to adjust your life so that it fits you in a loving, way, of course. You don't want to go around and do a bunch of illegal stuff. I'm not telling you that, hey, being a millionaire suits me just fine. I think I'll go, commit crime. No. That's not what we're talking about, but you get the gist, right? All right, so let's take a look at your tarot cards here to get a better idea of what's going on for you, pile 2. And I'm actually drawn to this deck for you. If you watch multiple decks from my readings, a lot of things may be different because whatever spirit calls me towards is what I am going to use. So it's not that I like one pile more than the other. It's simply that I am listening to what I am being guided to communicate with. So, all right. Spirit, we're looking for clear and concise messages for pile 2 on the message that you have for them today. Spirit, context or clarity on the message for pile 2. We have the 7 of Swords in reverse and the 8 of Wands in reverse. Spirit, clarity or context on the message for pile 2 today. All right, 7 of Pentacles. Spirit, clarity or context. The Empress in reverse. And actually, I don't feel as though there's another one. That feels like it's it. All right. All right, let me take a second to absorb this. And I'm going to get some clarifying cards as well to make sure that I'm including everything. It's interesting. What's on the bottom of the deck? The bottom of the deck, we have the 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. All right. Okay. I need to get some... Yeah, I'm going to have to get some clarification cards here. All right, so... Nope, that's not it. One sec. Let me get the other deck. Fidget spinner. Okay. One moment. There we go. All right, Spirit. Looking for clarification, context, clarification on the message for pile 2. Clarification on the message for pile 2. Spirit looking for clarification for the 7 of Swords. Interesting. Nope, that's not it. I'm going to go through one more time. If it doesn't feel right, I may have to switch decks. All right. Spirit. Looking for context or clarification on the 7 of Swords. There we go. We have the 2 of Cups in reverse and the 6 of Cups. Okay. Oof. All right. Spirit looking for clarification on the 8 of Wands, please. Spirit. Nope, too many. Spirit, can we get clarification on that one wanted to come out on the 8 of Wands? 8 of Swords in reverse. All right, Spirit. Any additional clarification? Nope, too many. Spirit, any additional clarification on the 8 of Wands? There we go. Oh, 2 more. All right. The Fool and the 2 of Wands in reverse. All right, Spirit, clarification Well, we'll take it. Any clarification on the, yep, Seven of Pentacles. All right. And Spirit looking for clarification on the Empress in reverse. Clarification or context. Interesting. Is that one or two? Yes, one. All right. We've got the Moon in reverse and the Sun in the upright. All right. Let me make sure all of these are fitting on the screen. I'm always worried that they won't fit. Yeah, let me move some of these up a little bit. Hold on. Okay. Looks like we've got everything on the table now. All right. So when we're looking at the Seven of Swords in reverse, this section right here that's clarified by the Two of Cups in reverse and the Six of Cups. So the Seven of Swords, when it's in reverse, a lot of times that can talk to us about a desire to give up or not stand your ground. That is, no, don't do that. You need to stand your ground. Do not give up. The Two of Cups in reverse talks to us about, it can talk to us about a lot of things like emotional blocks. It can talk to us about breakups. When you're dealing with the Seven of Swords, you want to be wary of unscrupulous people. Like you want to be aware of deception or deceptive people. All right. So the Two of Cups can talk to us about relationships, but it also can talk to us about healing past trauma. Now, one of the things that I noticed as I was looking at the bottom of the decks is that I was looking at a few of the cards under the bottom of the decks, and they actually started to reference looking at building a future. Yeah. And you have Judgment in there, which may have been, someone may have been dishonest with you, or may be being dishonest with you. However, overall, when it comes to this message here, I would say this is either someone has deceived you, and I would say this is more from a relationship perspective. This is someone from your past, someone you have known from your past, and there has been a breakup. And perhaps this is something where you've gone through it many, many times. Like you break up, you get back together, you break up, you get back together. Or, you were with them, when you were much younger, you got back together and you've broken up again, but you're repeating a cycle. All right. Now, when we come back to the message from Spirit, it's very important to remember that we need to look at the cracks in our foundation and recognize that which does not serve us, and be willing to be brutally honest about what the truth is. So if this is a situation you find yourself in, you have to face the truth. You need to face the truth. If this person has been dishonest with you and this is a repetitive cycle, there's no need for you to put yourself through this again. Now, this could also be describing, again, wanting to look up or look out for making sure that you're taking a stand and being wary of anybody who's deceitful. But this could be healing past trauma. And this takes us from the inner child to the future self when we're talking about the Six of Cups here. So in context of the Seven of Swords, it may be that you have reached a point in your life where, given all these messages, there's a pattern or a cycle that you have been repeating over and over and over again. And now is the time to stop that. You're getting worn out and you almost don't want to stand up for yourself. You're almost not willing to fight for yourself. And that's not okay. Now is the moment for you to take control, to empower yourself. And control. I was also getting the feeling of someone, I'm hearing something about someone being controlling in a relationship. That may not be for all of you, but that message just came through. But okay, back to the message about healing your inner child and your future self. Now is the time to make that change and break out of these old habits. Do the healing of this past trauma. Heal your inner child so that you can become the person that you want to be in the future. And know that this very much involves, this future version of yourself involves becoming someone who is comfortable in your own life. Someone who is not people-pleasing and doing what they're being told to do, or doing things for other people they don't necessarily want to do. Not being overwhelmed by others. Taking care of ourselves. You need to take a salt bath, like getting some Epsom salt, put some music on, have some me time. Some self-care is very highly recommended right now. Okay? Now, when we come into the aspect of the Eight of Wands, this is talking to us about the Eight of Wands in reverse. That can talk to us about delays and being patient, and also the need for us to be discreet. So, if you find yourself in a situation, and this is what's coming to my mind, particularly for those of you or whoever the message is about someone who is very controlling, you want to be very discreet about any thoughts or feelings that you are having right now and any of this rebuilding that you are doing for the moment. The time will come, but you need to be careful and you need to be discreet about how you are feeling and how you are evolving. All right? Now, all of this, the Eight of Swords in reverse, your Two of Wands that came out with the Fool, this discretion is about transitioning from feeling trapped and using your old story to keep you shackled or where you've been. Because look at her. Like, this is like self-limiting beliefs, right? A lot of us can learn to live our story. What we believe, we can believe that we're in this small box and that is who we are. But we are more than the sum of our losses. We are more than the pain we have been through. We are so much more than that. This Two of Wands is also talking to us about feeling stuck. It's as though you're feeling like you don't have a choice. You're holding on to the story that this box is all I've got, but it's not. Because the Fool is a new beginning. This is an opportunity to move forward. Now, there may be delays. However, with discretion, it is time to plan. And it may even be time to take action, actually. Because when we come to the Seven of Pentacles, one of the things we want to take a look at with the Seven of Pentacles is your goal is actually in sight. Okay? You've been putting the work in, but it's not time to stop. It is not time for you to give up. Like you're real close, but do not stop working. You're going to have to keep pushing through to get there. And it will be well worth it when you do get to the finish line. But you're going to have to keep going just a little bit longer. Doesn't mean you can't plan. Doesn't mean you can't get ready. You're going to do it with discretion. Now, something else to pay attention to, because we have these clarifiers here. When we see the Temperance card in reverse, that can talk to us a little bit about an imbalance or impatience, okay? The Three of Pentacles is talking to us about community and working together. So if we're talking about the Seven of Pentacles here, right? And we're saying we need to keep going. Yes, pile 2, you are very clearly impatient. I mean, again, at the very beginning, I mean, look at this face. That is an impatient face. However, community and working together with the right people is going to help you get to the finish line. Okay? Very, very important. You have to be careful of your impatience here. Do not give up. It's like here. It's almost like you don't want to take that stand. You're almost burnt out. You're overwhelmed. Like we talked about over here, like being emotionally overwhelmed if you're empathic. It's like you're overwhelmed. There's so much going on. But you can't give up right now, because what is on the other side is so worth it. You have to keep going. You need to keep going, because what you deserve is just there. It's waiting for you. You're working towards it, and it's almost within your grasp. Okay? Now, taking a look at the Empress in reverse. When we're looking at the Empress in reverse, we could be talking about a lot of different things, right? We could be talking about, this could be something domestic, like family issues at home. This can also signify that controlling influence in the home, which I think is where I was picking up on that from. It can also mean that we have like a creative block, or you may actually have someone in your life who is too needy and constantly taking too much, which might be part of this whole overwhelming psychic exhaustion from the deep knowing that we're picking up on here. Overall, this Empress in reverse is talking about being overwhelmed and a need for self-care, like we've been talking about. And I couldn't figure out why I only pulled 4 cards. And that's because the rest is going to be up to you. You have, as your clarifiers, the Moon and the Sun. Now, before I explain, the tarot card, when you read tarot, it can tell you everything based on what is happening right now in time, right? Things can change as we move forward. People make decisions. Things change. Where things stand right now, the Moon talks about in relation to this overwhelm and need for self-care, this loop that you're stuck in, this feeling that we've got going on here for you, pile 2. The moon talks to us about fears that block you, about illusion and anxiety, and it talks about going back to old ways of coping. Again, this is another reference to going back to our old box, our old story of this is my box and this is where I live. You don't have to do that, but you can. Or you can take the path of the sun. And the sun is where we turn it around with our creativity. The sun is one of the most beautiful cards in the tarot deck. The sun talks to us about joy, inspirational success, basically manifesting all of your dreams, using your creativity, which is truly, that's the best possible outcome you could be looking for. And you're very, very close. This isn't an easy decision for you, Pile 2. I very much get that feeling that you are on the fence. But Spirit is working very hard on your behalf to try to tell you to keep going. It is worth it to keep going, and you can have the life you desire and the outcome you desire if you keep working for it and let go of your old habits and your old stories and decide that you are a priority and you want to become something different. Now, with that said, because of the sort of unending nature of this reading, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull a suggestion deck, one of my favorites that I like to use for you, Pile 2. And again, if you watched another reading, don't take it personally. Everything is about what I'm being called to do. So it's just how the readings go. Give me just a second to make sure these are all lined up correctly, and then we will be ready to go. I feel like there's still one upside down, but maybe I'm just... Okay. All right, Spirit. We're looking for some last words of inspiration, or advice for Pile 2. Last words of inspiration or advice for Pile 2. Spirit. Words of inspiration or advice for Pile 2. It was upside down. Empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. All right. Looking for inspiration or advice for Pile 2. There we go. Courage. I find the inner strength to face fear with confidence. I can't make this up. For real. That's what this whole freaking spread is about. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation with empathy. Both sides of the situation. I almost want to get clarity on that, but I'm going to leave it for right now. Spirit, looking for additional inspiration or clarity for Pile 2. Oh, we already got it. I didn't even realize. I had my eyes closed. Gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. Yeah. There are a lot of opportunities for you right now. You can have a fresh start. All you have to do is be willing to let go of what you have been telling yourself was keeping you trapped, and Have brutal honesty with yourself about things that you have been refusing to admit or see. Take this opportunity to be grateful for the opportunity that is in front of you, and it is so close to within reach. And move forward to the beautiful life that you are meant to have. Care for yourself and find your peace because you deserve it. All right. With that, I'm going to leave your reading here. I do hope it's been helpful. If it has, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Hi, Pile 3. If you chose the Set Your Course, Know Where You Wish to Go, Have a Plan, The Right Direction card with, I believe this is the Kiwi Stone, then this is going to be your reading. And I hope I said Pile 3. I don't know, but Pile 3. Yes, this is going to be your reading. All right. So, set you up over here. And we will go ahead and get started. We're going to pull some oracle cards first. All right. Oops. Okay. Spirit. Asking for clear and concise messages for Pile 3. All right. Spirit. What is the message for Pile 3? Interesting. We have flexible in reverse, exchanging gifts in reverse. One more, please, Spirit. The message for, there we go, very fast. Message in a bottle in reverse. All right, let me take a look. Okay, I think I got everything repositioned, so it's in the picture with plenty of room at this point. All right, so Pile 3, set your course. Spirit is speaking here about you are about to move forward in a new direction. And not only do you want to have a plan when you do that, you want to focus on creating a list of accomplishments. What is it that you want to accomplish as you are deciding where you're going to go? Now, when we look at the flexible card in reverse, this candle is just going crazy. There we go. Oh, sorry. All right. So when we look at the flexible card in reverse, this actually talks to us about having almost like an us versus them mindset. So I'm getting a little bit of a feeling that and all of your situations are going to be different. I say this like in every pile, but I am getting a feeling as though there's been some turmoil. Yeah. Look at her face. There's been some type of turmoil that has set you off in this direction. It's almost as though it's a conflict. It might be a trauma, it might be a conflict. The important message here is that Spirit needs you to know there are no winners in a fight. It is always more empowering, or not always. I don't like blanket statements. although I probably use them too much, but it is more empowering to recognize when a situation is toxic and it is time to move on, and allow success to speak, your own success to speak the loudest as your response to any kind of conflict. Because that is how we grow as people. Engaging in conflict is not healthy for us. Okay? I don't know if it's just for one of you or some of you, but that message is very important to convey. When we're talking about exchanging gifts in reverse, one of the things that Spirit wants you to focus on is making sure that, one, be careful what you ask for, because if you decide that you want to be an astronaut, you have to be prepared to do all the stuff that an astronaut does. And that's great. If you want it and you want to do all of the stuff that an astronaut does, getting those G-force things, and I don't know, I'm assuming that's, quite uncomfortable. A lot of people pass out. Great. You go for that dream. You do what you want. But make sure that what you choose is something that you are willing to go the distance for. Also recognize that whatever you choose needs to have balance in it. Okay? There needs to be a balance of give and take when it comes to your direction, wherever you're going next, whether this is in a relationship, whether this is in work, interpersonal dynamics, whatever it is, the path that you take needs to include not only giving, but receiving. Not only receiving, but giving. And I can't wait to pull the tarot on this one, because these oracle cards are very interesting in combination, and I think the tarot is going to pull it all together. But you also have a message in a bottle in reverse, and this is the hallmark of somebody who does not listen to red flags. And as someone who has been through trauma, it is very common for us not to recognize or not to pay enough attention to the red flags. Pay attention to the red flags. They're there for a reason. Listen to the signs. Don't just go making excuses for the things that you see because, I'm sure it's just me. No, that's not the case. Spirit is specifically calling to your attention that there are red signs, red flags, red signs. I don't know how many times I said that wrong, but whatever. Red flags that you have to pay attention to. And when you see them, you're going in the opposite direction. Okay, this is not for us. We don't take this here. Okay, because we are worthy of what is best for us. And a red flag is not called a red flag for no reason. Okay, it's not the greatest situation. Now's the fun part, because I can't wait to do the tarot for you guys. I just have to figure out. Yeah, I know. I'm going to do this one. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to pull the tarot for you, pile 3, and get a little bit more information, context or clarity on the message for you, pile 3. Spirit. We are looking for clear and concise messages for the good of all on the message for pile 3. Spirit. Looking for clarity, context for pile 3. All right. Spirit. What clarity or context do we have for pile 3? I want to say this came out first. Okay, the Fool. A lot of these cards, there's a lot of commonalities. There are some differences, but there are a lot of commonalities with fresh starts here throughout these piles. So if you were drawn to any other pile, go check it out. But, yeah, all right. Spirit. Additional clarification or... Ooh, there we go. Ooh, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse. All right. Spirit, clarification or context for the message for... Ooh, goodness. Pile... Oh, too many. Spirit, clarification or context for the message for pile 3. Too many. Ugh. Ooh, what is that? Okay. Believe that was the one that was meant to come out from before. And the Strength card. Ooh, this is a little different. All right. Interesting. Okay. All right, I'm going to get some clarifiers just so we have more context on each of these. So we've got the Fool card, we've got the 8 of Cups in reverse, the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, and then we've got the Strength card. So, that said, where's my itty bitty pile? There you are. Okay. Spirit, looking for clarification, any needed clarification on the tarot messages for pile 3. Spirit, any needed clarification for the Fool? Whoa, that one definitely wanted to come out. Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands. Interesting. Okay, and you can see that good. All right. Spirit. Looking for clarification on the 8 of Cups in reverse, please. Oh boy. All right. Justice in reverse. Yep. Spirit, any additional clarification on the 8 of 4 of Pentacles? Yep. Okay. All right. Spirit, clarification on the 9 of... Wow, that just lazily fell out. Yeah. 6 of Cups in reverse. Spirit, additional Ooh, nope, too many. Additional clarification on the 9 of Pentacles. Oh. Ugh. A Hierophant. All right, Spirit, clarification on the Ace of Pentacles, please. Spirit. 6 of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. All right. Additional clarification. 2. All right. We have the Ace of Cups in reverse and the King of Pentacles in reverse, but we've got 2 aces here, so I'll look into that. All right, Spirit, clarification on the Strength card. 3 of Cups. Spirit, any additional clarification on the Strength card? I had 2 that came upright. I'll take them. We had the 8 of Wands in reverse. And then we had the Five of Swords. All right. I'm going to take a second to straighten these out, so hopefully you'll be able to see them across the board. And I'll be right back. Okay, I think you can see everything now. So, taking a look at the Fool, in this context, I'm getting that with the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, the Fool is, again, it's going to be about, well, I guess not again if you didn't watch the other videos, but it's going to be about potential, a new start, following your heart's desire, but it's also going to be about a leap of faith. And with the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands and this specific version of the Fool card, look at how the dog is holding on to him, trying to like keep him from just falling off the side of the cliff. With the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, the Page of Pentacles can talk about, like, you know, opportunities are beckoning, progress, adventure, you know, the need to nurture your skills. It also talks about how you need to pay attention to the details when you're doing something. You, as the Knight of Wands is very fast moving. Okay, it's not the fastest moving knight in the deck, but it's very adventurous and impatient. And with that, there is an overall, and what I'm getting here is there is a need for whatever course you're setting for you to be paying attention to the details and making sure you're not missing anything because you're excited about getting started. The good news is that this does look like a very successful journey that you're about to go on. This can be talking about a move. We could be talking about getting an offer on a property, getting a job offer. It could be talking about good news in general. Could be like a new line of business. You might be starting your own business, like maybe you be an entrepreneur. But it is good news. And with the Knight of Wands, you just want to be careful because you can go a little bit too fast. All right. Now, it can also indicate that we are moving, making progress, and it can talk about travel. So that might be part of your course. And again, make sure that whatever it is that you are looking for or decide what your course is going to be, you're willing to do whatever that includes. So, you know, like I said, one second. You're going to need to make sure that you are prepared for whatever it takes, whatever you're signing up for effectively. Okay? So, then we're going to move on to the Eight of Cups. So when we're looking at the Eight of Cups in reverse, so the Eight of Cups typically talks to us about moving away from a situation that no longer serves us. But when it's in reverse, what is it that you're holding on to? It's talking about errors in judgment of either leaving too soon and running, or staying too long. And this is the cups. The cups are about emotions. Now, with the clarifiers of the Justice card in reverse, this clearly would indicate that you have been done wrong. to me, based on this context. And we are in line with the flexible card, which I kept getting a sort of 5 of Swords, which is weird that it ends up over here, but we'll get there. I kept getting like a 5 of Swords sort of energy from the flexible card, like there was some type of conflict. The Justice card in reverse is a reminder from Spirit to find your voice and hold true to your values if you're in the right, okay? You need to be honest with yourself about what are you waiting for if you're still there, okay? If you're still hanging on to something that no longer serves you, why? You do deserve to be treated well. You do deserve happiness. And that is within your power. The Justice card, again, an injustice has been done to you. You have been effectively treated unfairly. With the 4 of Pentacles in reverse, that indicates somebody who can be like incredibly materialistic and or someone who can be controlling and self-centered in perhaps like some type of position of authority over you. Or perhaps it was a relationship that you had with somebody who was controlling and self-centered. This, I believe, is for some of you, if not all of you, well, actually, I think it's going to be most of you, where the conflict that is causing you to change course, or that is guiding Spirit to give you the advice to focus on your new course, where that's coming from. Okay? So, we're going to take a look at the 9 of Pentacles. When we talk about the 9 of Pentacles in reverse, this indicates that we need to reevaluate our priorities and reclaim our autonomy. Okay? Again, it's falling right in between reciprocation and the ignoring red flags. There are no coincidences when it comes to readings. All right, now, the 6 of Cups in reverse. 6 of Cups is about nostalgia. It's typically about the past. But the 6 of Cups in reverse can be where we kind of feel like we are locked, or how do I put this? Like being stuck on the past to avoid moving forward. So, for any of you where this situation is about a relationship and someone from your past comes back and they attempt to reconcile, which they may, you say no. You leave them in the past. You left them for a reason, or they left you, or they strung you along, or they were controlled. Nah, we don't take that here. No. You are in the past for a reason, okay? I understand it is very difficult to let go of the people that we have in our lives at times, even when it doesn't make sense. Particularly those of us who've been through trauma. We want to give people second chances, and we can easily, unfortunately, sometimes be convinced that, well, you know, it's not really a bad person, or they're not really a bad person. You know, maybe it was just, No. Okay? The Hierophant is talking to you about self-realization and expansion. And this is your opportunity to grow emotionally and spiritually. So to do that, that is why Spirit is telling you, nuh-uh, we're focusing on where we're going and we're leaving the past behind. Set your course, baby. Let's go. Okay? No, we don't want any of this. No, somebody or something that's been playing with our emotions and messing with us and treating us unfairly. We don't need to stoop to their level, but we certainly do not allow them access to hurt us again. And it is time to reclaim your autonomy. And you are going to enhance yourself and grow spiritually and emotionally going forward, which is, I mean, Spirit, it's crazy because it's like Spirit kind of has a plan for you. Like, you get to pick what the plan is, but Spirit's like, nah, we're moving forward. Come on, let's go. And you just gotta pick, which is not the easiest thing to do in the world. I understand that. However, really kind of cool reading. I've not seen one lay out like this before. So, all right, let's keep going. All right. When we talk about the Ace of Pentacles, a lot of times this is about greed and holding on to one specific outcome. Okay? And I feel that must have been in the last reading. If you were drawn to any of the other readings, watch them. There's been a lot of things that have been interwoven, although each have been different. But anyway, you do have this explained with an Ace of Cups. So this actually, when you have two aces that are close to each other in a reading, a lot of times this has to do with an important partnership, okay? But with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, if you're too fixed on one thing, you're going to miss the other things that are going on, right? You're going to miss the forest for the trees. You're so focused on one thing, you're going to miss what is really what you're looking for, what your true path should be, okay? Now, with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. The Six of Pentacles in reverse, that can actually be like an offer of money that you're not going to be able to keep because either somebody's going to steal it from you or somebody's going to offer you something, but the conditions are going to be so unacceptable to you that you can and you should say no. Do not, again, be willing to, what was the phrase that we had earlier from Spirit? It was, make sure that, be careful what you wish for. Because you may not be willing to do what it takes to get there, to get it. All right? So, this offer of money, whatever it is, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is telling you, do not make any major financial decisions right now, okay? Don't. The Six of Pentacles in reverse is talking to us about there's going to be like an offer, but you're either not going to be able to keep it or you're not going to want to take it because the reason it's going to be too much. You're not going to like it and say no if you have to. And if you even remotely think that you should, trust your intuition and say no. Now, unfortunately, this does have the Ace of Cups involved in it. Now, again, like I mentioned before, two aces in close to each other in a reading, a lot of times that represents an important partnership. So this could be someone that you are attempting to start maybe a business with. However, the King of Pentacles, I'm going to start there. Corrupt, fraud, gambling. Look at your finances, okay? Pay attention to your finances because something is wrong in Denmark when it comes to this. Now, if this is a new relationship or romantic relationship of some sort, I am sorry to say it is not going to launch the way that you may hope it would, okay? But this is very much based around financial influence. Do not ignore the red flags here, okay? So when you're setting your course and you're going through your ideas, do not ignore the red flags, okay? Now, your Ace of Cups can talk about, for potential other situations, okay, it can talk about fertility issues or a creative block. And you actually might be feeling exhausted by the emotional demands of somebody else or neglected. Which is why if this is a quote unquote emotional relationship, it's not going to work out. But honestly, this King of Pentacles in reverse, you don't want any of this. This is a fraud. Okay? So stay away from this. You need to pay attention to your finances, but do not make any major financial decisions and look for red flags right now. Okay? Like we talked about before, you need to pay attention to the details as you are setting your course. Very, very important. All right? Okay. Now, okay. Looking at the Strength card and given the clarifiers that we have here, the Strength card talks about a time where you look to your higher self for guidance. And this will be a time where you are going to need to dive deep and stay strong. There are clearly opportunities for you to move forward after some painful experiences, some conflicts, and potentially some financial issues, right? You need to be careful of. Now, Spirit is telling you to make sure that you are discerning in who you surround yourself with the Three of Cups. You want to surround yourself with people who bring value into your life. Do not allow people who have red flags into your life, okay? This Eight of Wands in reverse, that talks to us about delays, the need to be patient. And it can talk to us about jealousy, but it also talks to us about the need to be discreet when we're, for lack of a better word, pissed off. Term. Anyway, I say that because the Five of Swords came out with this Eight of Wands in reverse. And the Five of Swords is about conflict. It's battle. It's loss. It's tension. It's conflict. And the only way that you're going to win is if you walk away at the right time with your self-respect. And that is going to take a lot of inner strength to do. Because I got the feeling that you might want to get spunky. Argue, come out swinging in an argument. No. It's done. Walk away. That is your message from Spirit. What are you holding on to? I don't know, that only you will know where each of these messages resonate in your life. But it is very clear that Spirit has a plan for you to navigate into a new phase of creativity and success. The Strength card does talk to us about creativity, and if you continue doing the work, you're going to see the fruits of your labor, okay? So know that. But you have a lot to navigate along the way. And know that too. You are worth setting your own healthy boundaries for, deciding what is acceptable to you, and refusing to cross any boundary that you set or allow anyone to cross any boundary that you set. You are worth it. Never let anyone make you feel any different. There is a lot of excitement out there for you, but you do have things to navigate. With that said, I do want to go ahead and give you some words of inspiration from Spirit. I do different cards for different piles. If you happen to watch more than one pile, I do it because I'm called to, and it's what feels right for the pile. So just know that. I don't know if it bothers people. That's just how it is. But, all right, Spirit. We're looking for words of advice and inspiration for pile 3. Spirit, may we please have advice or inspiration for pile 3. There we go. All right, we have imagination. I embrace and nourish the creative aspect of my mind. You guys have got to be creativity has been all over this puppy. In spite of the fact that there has been some injustice, some pain, you guys are some go-getters with a lot of potential and a lot of creativity in this pile, which really impresses me. Your next message of inspiration from Spirit is growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness, just like the Hierophant talked about. This is a time where you are going to expand your spirituality and your emotional growth, okay? Your consciousness and your awareness. This is where we accept what the truth is. We put our big boy, girl, or other britches on and we say, okay, this is life, and I'm going to have self-respect enough to understand this isn't worth my time anymore. I'm going to go find what is. All right? One more. Spirit, one more message of inspiration or guidance. Nope, too many. For our pile 3, too many. It may be asking me to take from another pile. We'll try it one more time. Spirit looking for another message of inspiration or advice. And we'll take 2. Empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation, but be careful. Pay attention to the details. Don't let anybody snow you. And patience. I accept that everything happens in divine order. There is a lot about patience in your reading. Okay? Page of Pentacles, even the Strength card. You need to make sure that you have patience. You are on the right path. Spirit has got your back. Be patient. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close out your reading. I want to thank you for letting me read your energy today. I hope this was helpful. If it was, I hope you will hit the like button and subscribe. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks a lot.